So a video which I haven't done yet is a covering of a laminating of a slope saw. I did a video on my mini Hitman build guide which covered a lot of the covering process with laminating film. But yes, I've got a wee puppy now. I'm going to tell you how to seal the foam, what product to use, and then the process in which to make it stick nicely and to give you a nice surface finish. So you can see on this wing I have glued in this bar here, fiberglass bar with some Gorilla glue underneath. And then I've chucked some blue filler just to sort of tidy things up, make it nice and smooth. I have put in slots and cutouts for where my radio gear is going to go. So I have my servo holes. I've chopped those right through. You'll see why maybe in a later video. I have got the battery cutout and the receiver cutout and some antenna slots. So now that the wing's all kind of cleaned up, ready for some covering. Now that my dog is currently chopping off all the products I'm going to use. These are 3 different spray adhesives that I've tried. You've got this ADOS, well actually I have tried 4, and the original, not the high strength ADOS one, is the one which I like to use for slightly cheaper. The Scotch Super 77, which is more expensive but definitely probably the best product. And I tried Sally's because apparently Sally's works and Sally's does not work. This one here is pretty much good for paper and cardboard. It doesn't really stick other things very well. So this one here tends to come out in quite a squirty fashion. These two come out in more of a mist spray, which is what you want. So yeah, be careful when you're buying spray adhesives that you get one that doesn't come out in a squirt. I'll show you that in a second. So yeah, this ultra high strength ADOS doesn't spray very well. It sprays in quite a squirt. So if you look at this, you can see it squirts. So if you try to spray it on your wing, you just end up with a big squirty mess, a big pile of it. It just kind of builds up in a big blobs. So I don't like that one. And like I said, this quick grip does spray nicely, but it doesn't stick very well. So this comes out in quite a nice mist, as you can see. So it goes on nicely into the wing, but does tend to not stick very well. So I like the spray 77 because again, this comes out in a nice mist. It actually has a nice vertical spray pattern. So I use that. And when I do my wing, I go over with several coats. So I will go over this, just reasonably light even coats, and I'll do this for the entire wing 3 times, waiting half an hour between coats. Alright, so now we have given this 3 coats and it's just slightly tacky to the touch, letting it set for around about an hour after the last coat, because I want it to set enough that it's not going to be sticking to the bench if I put it into a bench. The next thing I'm going to do is to install the radio gear, because we don't want to be cutting through the covering to install the radio gear. We want to be covering over the radio gear. So that's going to be my next job now. So now we have the gear in, we have the servos glued in, the battery packs glued in, and the receiver. I've put a bit of tape over that just to protect the sensitive stuff while I am doing the covering. So it's all flush, ready to go. First thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually run a stripping tape across this wing, because wings have a tendency to tear through here. Once they hit the nose, if you can imagine, that goes donk. Once the wing's going to keep going, and they tear through the middle. So I'm going to put some strapping tape under here and on the top. That'll help with that. So that we have some strapping tape top and bottom, just to help reinforce that area through the apex of the wing join. Now we are going to get the covering film and start that process. Right, now I like to use, just for the ease of availability, these are A2 80 micron laminating pockets. I do have a roll of 125 micron laminating film somewhere, but I cannot find that. So I'm going to use these A2 laminating pockets. Now, the way I deal with these is I go along the top where the seam is, and I chop off the seam. Chopping off the seam means I then get 2 sheets of laminating film, which I can use. So, I like to start on the bottom. I am going to line it up with the edge there. Let this one go kind of. So I'm going to wrap over the trailing edge, so I'm going to come to there. My iron is on. I can just use a general household iron. They work fine. Now I like to keep the wing flat on the table at all times. So I'm going to tack down this corner. Tack down the corner. Tack down this side. Make sure we're all still tight. Tack down that corner. Tack down that corner. Now I'm going to go on the trailing edge and tack down that. I have an edge to work from. Now I'll get this edge on here too. Now I can start. Do it this way, you can see. Having somewhere with good lighting is good, so you can see where the laminating film goes clear, because that tells you that you have activated the adhesive. So I have made sure that my iron temperature is correct, because if you are too hot, then all you're going to do is melt the foam underneath and overcook the laminating film, and you're just going to end up with a bit of a molten mess. I know a couple of people who have done that with their wings, held the iron on too long or had the iron too hot. So I'm just slowly working back and forth, looking for the crinkles and bubbles. I'm going to roll the wing, keep it flat. The pressure's going straight down through the wing onto the table, so I'm not inducing any twist into things, because at this stage of the process you will induce twist if you don't keep things flat. And then the missus will be happy because she knows she can do the ironing. So now you can see along here, you can see there where it's milky, where it hasn't stuck, and there where it's gone really clear. You can see it doesn't look like there's any film in there at all. You can see there is. And we have a nice smooth surface of laminating film. And you can see at the front it's gone milky where it hasn't stuck. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim the leading edge and I'm going to wrap that round. The way I like to do it is I like to trim a piece on the leading edge. This is going to wrap round to there, and then the top layer will come over top of this and then wrap around the other side. So you end up with two layers of the leading edge, which makes the leading edge nice and solid. So yeah, back up here. Come on, focus. There you go. Follow the leading edge around, keeping this flat on the table. Slowly working it round. Get around to the top. Up this way. And same. Slowly working it round. Keeping the wing flat on the table. So now we have both bottom sides done. Well, apart from the centre, because I'm going to put another bit in the centre. But I'm going to wrap around the trailing edge now, because by wrapping around the trailing edge, I can ensure I get good consolidation of the skin and basically make a full wrap of the aircraft. So I'll fold this round to the trailing edge, make sure that's stuck down. Same on this side, around the trailing edge. This is where the thinner film works better because it doesn't mind the bend, the sharp 90 degree. Whereas the thicker film does not like to do this at all. Right, I'm going to fold this down over the top. Now we have a nice fold right round. So we have wrapped the bottom round to the front and round to the bottom. So once we put a sheet over top, that will join the skins at the leading and trailing edge and make it nice and strong. Now one of my little tricks for the top side is to leave around about 6 millimeters hanging over the leading edge, and I'm not going to wrap that right round. I'm going to leave that sticking off the back. Now you'll see why that is later on. Now at the front I have trimmed off a piece which I'm going to wrap around underneath, and we're going to have 2 layers of the leading edge now. So now we've got the top side covered on both sides. Oh, got a few wrinkles there, I need to fix those. Let's go over the iron. Get those to stick down a little bit nicer. The good lighting will show you where things are good and where things are bad. I must have skipped over that bit before. And again. Right, that looks better. So I've got both sides done. And in the middle section yet, I'll do that in a moment. As you can see, that leading edge is looking really nice along there, both sides. Beautiful leading edge, nice and wrapped, no seams. Now I'm going to lay a piece over the centre to join up the 2 sides. Right, so now after I've gone and covered that piece over the centre here, sorry, this way, over the centre here, I've got to trim this bit off. And I have split it and then folded it over and gone over here. Now I'm going to fold this piece over and go this way as well. It's like a bit like origami, and I've got to split this along here so that it doesn't end up with a big crinkle in the nose there as well. There you go, one fully laminating filmed wing. So now that just needs a bit of trimming on the ends and some vinyl covering, and then it's ready to go. Nice and solid, nice and strong. So to finish, I am vinyl wrapping it. So I've just pulled off some blue and I've just tacked it down. And now I'm going to squeegee it all properly into place, get rid of all the bubbles. We'll start from the middle, going outwards. And then we'll have a nice blue bottom. There we go. There we go, a little bit of vinyl. Here's the blue I put underneath. And I've chucked some white with some black and some green accents on the top. Trim the leading edge nice and straight with the vinyl. Chop through where my push rods are going to go out. Then I've hinged the elevons on the bottom with some tape. And now you can see why the overhang piece of laminating film was there, because it covers over the hinge gap. So you get a nice clean wing. So it basically makes a little wiper. Makes a big difference. So what we're going to do now is hook up the control rods, mount some wingtips, and she's done. Or add a CG, of course.